Don't let winter get you down. Even though it could be bitterly cold, you can still enjoy yourself. Whether it's watching a game outside, hiking, whatever it is, it can be a lot of fun. You just need to be prepared. My fingers get cold, and I know people whose fingers get cold really fast. And you're not going to have a real good time if the person you're with is miserable. So I figured it was time to try these things out. These are rechargeable battery heaters. 3 levels. Got 2 different kinds. I got this one and this one. So we're going to test these out at the various levels and see if they really do last as long as advertised. And are they comfortable? When I first turned one on, I was wondering, how long can you hold on to it? We'll talk a little bit about how these things can be really slippery, and guess what? They'll fall out of your hands. If you drop them on the ground, in the stands, if you don't lose them first, you might break them. I'm not sure how tough they are, and I'm not going to test that out, but I've got an idea on how to keep from falling, at least no further than that. So let's charge them up and start testing them out. Each set, they come in pairs, comes with one of these. USB-C on one end and USB on the other. And you can put them together and hold them like this, but they're better when you take them apart. You can charge them 2 at a time or 1 at a time. It doesn't really matter. You can leave that port empty if you want. No matter what you do, whether you're charging 2 or 1, it's about 3.5 hours to fully charge them from 0. Sometimes they'll come with a charge, but you really want to recharge them. Make sure they're at full capacity. And as you charge them, the lights will go across and they'll start at 1, then go to 2, then go to 3. When all 3 are lit, you know you're fully charged. The testing has officially begun. These 3 are on 1 dot heat and these 3 are on 2 dot heat. I did a kind of a quick test run yesterday. They went fairly long and they were consistent in temperature. It took a minute or 2 for each one of these to ramp up. The temperature, and I'll show it a little later after they've been going for a while. Also, after a while, and I don't know if this is part from the beginning or not, we'll test that out, it had a tendency to pulse. In other words, when you put the temperature gauge on there for level 1, it would go down to like the 90s and then come back up to 108 for the whole period they were on. They're all fully charged and they're ready to go. So we'll do the 1s here, 2s here, and then we'll do a 3 and see how long they last. On all of these designs, the interesting thing is this side remains cold, so you can actually put it down here and not worry about it melting anything. And this side here, where the face is, that's the hot piece. So you put that in next to your hand. And if you wanted to, you could actually together like this and get both sides. But I think it's designed to do this for the most part. And this strap here, this is my own addition, creation. It doesn't come with that. These are really lightweight and they're kind of slippery. It doesn't take much to drop a electronic component or a battery and it just dies on you. So I've come up with these straps and I'll show that either later in the video or another video. Using this temperature sensor to figure out what the temperatures are. This is the number 1 setting. This is the number 2 setting. 2 hours and 20 minutes into it. 102, you can see where the laser's pointing on the device. 103, 109, 108, 108, 95, 88 here, 116 up there. So this is running a little hotter. Those are all number 1s. Number 2s. I think they cycle. 119, 102 on the bottom. 122 at the top, 90s on the bottom. 116 on the top, 90-ish on the bottom. 123 on the top, 100 to 95 on the bottom. So this one's running a little hotter on the 1 and running about the same on the 2. To the feel, they're very warm. When you get up here, it's right on the verge of uncomfortable. And 3 is even higher than that. We're 4 hours in now. This is reading 111, 105, 105. 115, this is reading 117, and this is reading 120. So different places in any one of these hand warmers will have different temperatures. See, it's 92 down here and 114 up here. 5 hours in, these are still going. These are still going. Whoop, one is dead. It was supposed to last longer than 5 hours. It must have just died off because it's not room temperature yet. 118, 116, 109, 115, 105. Oh, this one just died out. I no sooner stopped the video camera on the last run and this one started dying out. At the 2 level, it looks like they all last to be 5 hours. We're still going strong on the 1. What I'm going to do next is recharge all 3 of these and see how long they last at the 3 level. We're a little less than 7 hours in. This one's cold to the touch, so it's been out for a while. That's warm still. This is warm still. Yep, still running at 108, 105-ish. This just died at 7 hours. I mean, the light just came off. Just over 7 hours, this one went out. So I'm saying what I found in my test is for a level 1, all 3 of these die right around 7 hours. Took right around 3.5 hours to charge, give or take a minute or so. I'm pretty much convinced no matter what one you get, they all have the same system inside. It just looks different on the outside. So now we're going to fire these up and we're going to do the number 3 setting and see how good it does. And just like the previous readings, the bottom is cooler by sometimes 20 degrees, 134 and climbing. They're all doing pretty much the same thing. So this area here, where my finger is the hot zone. It's a little cooler on that side, a little cooler, not by much. 146, 144. Hold on to it and see what you think. Wow. Yeah, it's almost uncomfortable at the number 3 level. I guess if your hands were really cold, you'd have to be careful about that. They seem to cycle. They'll get up to 143 and then they'll come down a little bit. It's not supposed to burn you. If you had no idea what these are and you picked them up, you'd be pretty startled by that level of temperature. 2.5 hours in. Ooh, they're still hot. So anywhere between 135 here, 133, 129, but it's a minute or 2 over 4 hours and these have shut off exactly at the same time. 4 hours. Supposed to be 6. This one is still going. 102 on the bottom. 131, climbing slightly. So somewhere between 129 and 133 F. Trying to describe how hot this is. It feels like holding on to a piping hot mug of coffee or tea. And these have cooled down right to room temperature within a minute or so. You could also mix and match, that's kind of cool. These don't mix with this, it's a different configuration. But these also come in many, many colors. I just got black because it was the cheapest, so I wanted to see if cheap was any factor. This one's going a little longer. This one here died at 4.5. We finished all the testing on these. What do I like about it? They're kind of portable, relatively tough, and they put out a consistent heat, at least for a period of time. If you're going to be out there more than 7 hours, maybe only use one at first and then start the second one. You could alternate, have it in this hand for a while and then go to this hand. So you could probably get 14 hours, or maybe with this one, a little bit more than 14 hours. Do you really need the high mode? I don't know. That's pretty hot. I'm not sure how long I could just have that in my hand. For 4 hours, and if you have frostbitten hands, I'm not sure you'd want to be on level 3 because I think you might damage your hands. So you'd want to slowly warm your hands up. I really was hoping that these would be better than these air-activated ones. They're cheap. You can get this here for about $1, and there's 2 in the packet. So I guess I'm going to have to do a test on these next and compare them to these. Supposedly they go 10 hours, but they're a throwaway items. One of the advantages is it can be recharged. One of the disadvantages are it needs to be recharged. And once it's dead weight. I'm not so sure they're survivable. They look like they have a hard plastic shell on them. And I also think if you're going to get one, this was the cheapest one. And maybe because it's black. You lose this at night, this is going to be harder to find on almost any surface, except for maybe some bleachers. These are going to be easier to find. And they're color-coded, so you know that this is one person's and this is another person's. Or you could just kind of put them together and have a little fun. After all the testing, would I buy them again? Not sure. I don't know. I can see advantage that if you wanted to heat treat a certain area, maybe you got some sore arms, this would be a little better than these chemical hand warmers. So I might be doing an updated video to see what other people think. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in the evaluation of sports gear, photography equipment, designs of all kinds, making and breaking things, I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe, because you never know what kind of testing you're gonna see.